She's like, but mum. Yeah, and she's our dog. Right. Yep, our dog. Yo, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to Tokimotive. Alright, so the plan was to put engine and gearbox in this weekend, today, but my manifold arrived. I was asleep because I was on night shift and no one else was home, so it is what it is. So it's gonna come Monday instead now. But what did arrive was new camper tops for my mighty max speeding rod goodness front coilovers that are knocking like crazy. But all the knocks in the camper tops, so like 80 bucks. I just ordered a new set off eBay. What I'm doing that I didn't do last time is I've removed the actual pillow top bit from the top, and I've got it soaking in gear oil at the moment over in the corner, and I've been freeing up the balls in it, the actual swivel sort of joint. Free that up, try and feed some oil in there to actually get it right, because my old ones, particularly the left-hand coilover, which is the one I have the most issue with, it was really tight when I got it, basically seized in the top, which is what they felt like. So the wheel would try and turn, but because it don't want to turn in the pillow top, it just undo the bottom of the coilover, which is why that side always adjusted itself out and raised the car and shit like that. These should fix that issue, because I'm actually doing it right and soaking them, and hopefully they don't do that again. But then the pillow top, it ended up wearing out and they were just like knocking and carrying on. Which, what are you smiling at? Picking on me?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Cat's running my speaker wires.
It's done now.
That's done? Cat has run my speaker wires for me. But what I'm gonna do for this is, because I was having issues with wheels hitting the chassis rail while I was on track, and I already have a bent lower control arm from Matsuri. I have the 33 lower control arms, which are like 10 or 15 mil longer than the S13 ones. So I was thinking of putting them on and then widening out this hole so I can adjust more camber out of it. Because the camber I had was good. It steered well, everything worked perfect. If I put the 33 lower control arms on and then put these and like file in some extra adjustment, get another 10 mil out of this, 10 mil out of the bottom, essentially same alignment, but the whole wheel's pushed out 10 mil without increasing the scrub radius, and basically it's almost free extra clearance. It's just a little bit of work. So I think it's worthwhile doing. We'll see. I may still have to go a more aggressive offset wheel to get that clearance on the curved caster arms and everything that I want, but I think that'll help. I just drove around it last time, but you could feel it bind and kind of bite on full lock every now and then. Which I'm putting the Wanka knuckle front end back in, which is, I'll link to the Instagrams for getting those knuckles in the description, because Matt, he's nailed it with those knuckles. If you've seen any of my other videos driving with them, they're fantastic. But I want to run them again, and I've got that big lock front end I picked up, so I'm going to put my knuckles with it, put a normal set of lower control arms in, probably the 33 ones as I was saying. Then eventually down the track when I want more lock, I'll notch them and shit like that. But if I relocate the rack now, I don't have to pull the motor out to do it again. So I'm going to keep the relocated rack, put the Wanka knuckle front end in, space everything out that 10 mil, and then see how that setup works. Oh, Jesus, nearly dropped it. If that works really good, potentially chase more lock later down the track after Matsuri. Having the relocated rack will stop any sort of binding. It'll affect the caster a little, should still steer just as it should. I may just need to adjust a couple of things, but that's my plan. I can't put the motor in, but I can do the front suspension, so put this on time lapse. Yo. Alright, so excuse the fucking mess. Things are still trash in here. It's so hard to clean when you got parts everywhere. But this pillow top was seized when I originally got them. Now it's the opposite of seized. It's got like fucking 3 mil of play, which has been a constant, persistent knock. Got another set, 80 bucks off eBay, which I have clearanced out now to get more positive camber out of the tops. In all fairness, didn't turn out the cleanest. I kind of fucked up where I drilled those holes, and because the carbide burr wasn't working, I guess it's not really meant for alloy, so oops. But is what it is. They'll do the job, they just don't look pretty. Thing to remember, loosen the tension on your spring first, otherwise it's gonna twing and shoot the top off at you. So loosen the spring first, 100%, before you do anything else towards removing the top. The kit that you get with Max Speeding Rod fucking camber tops is you get new nuts, new inserts, new slide bracket with studs, hardware, these little fucking doobie bolts. Here's the new pillow top bit, which is the bit that I'm after. This should make a world of difference, I hope. Fucking fresh. Funky fresh, yeah. Gross. I hate gear oil. Hopefully that has soaked in and these are never an issue. Deciding to change the power steering rack from the one that came with the big lock kit to my original one that was in my other wagon, because I know for a fact it works. The coilover's sort of sitting in there. I'm going to mock up all knuckles, brakes, lower control arms, etc. The longer LCAs and being able to push the camber top out will give me a nicer fitment, which we could. Since I lost a lot of my fitment when I raised the car up. It used to sit in mint, but I had to raise it up because of defects, so I prefer not to get defected on the first drive of my new one, so we'll just push the whole wheel out to get better fitment. I know I'm just kind of doing the same shit I did, but we'll time lapse, start putting this front end together, we can get an idea of what sort of lock it's going to get, and then potentially mod the lower control arms, we'll see what's happening. As it is, I'm relocating the rack as opposed to where it was last time. So the steering setup's going to be a little bit different no matter what I do. Anyways, I'm going to get stuck into it. Get the music back going again. And whole thing burn up. because the rack is relocated forward by quite a lot. As you can see, that is at the limit of what we can do on that steering joint, which that notch there is meant to be where the bolt is, but it works, it feels solid enough, so. May have seen you caught it in that little time lapse at the end there. I swapped the cross member back to a standard position rack. It definitely had way more Ackerman in it than it does now, which was causing clearance issues on the trailing wheel. I clearanced the caster arms and everything, and it was still hard on them, which was clearly a lot more Ackerman than I thought. I'm still curious to find out what that setup feels like, but it might be in my mate's car, because at the moment it's just too much trial and error for the deadline I have. I have 17 days to get this thing ready for Matsuri. So there's no way I'm going through all the trial and error of trying to set the new front end up when I can set it up the old way but pushed out that 10 mil. So I just spent a couple of hours tonight and swapped the cross member and be done with it for now. You'll see if you go back and have a look at the lock-to-lock parts of the video, it definitely has a lot more Ackerman when you relocate the rack forward as opposed to stock position, which that's the good thing about Matt's knuckles, is they're designed for the factory position of the 31 rack, which chuck your lock stops off and you get about the maximum amount out of it that you won't get bind, which it's a good amount of lock. And if you tune your alignment so that you don't go full flat contact patch on full lock, then I can tell you from last Matsuri of attempting backies, it's gonna feel pretty good for backies. Like, that last Matsuri setup was fucking perfect. If only the hydro had held up, it would have just been a dialed in drift car and I would have just left it alone. Is what it is, I never had a hydro, so I'm gonna have one now though. Woo. I'm pushing for Rego roadworthy mod plate on the road for Matsuri so I can drive it there. I've driven it to every Matsuri so far. I don't really want to break that tradition. I'd love to drive the new shell there, but if it comes right down to the wire, then so be it. I'm really happy with the new lock setup, the way I've moved it all out. I've got no contact on anything whatsoever, which is fantastic. I had light contact on the caster arm and the frame of the car when I had the shorter lower control arms and had it notched the camber tops. So sweet, worked perfect, exactly what I wanted. Honestly, I'll probably leave it alone. My old sedan shell is going to a mate, so I'll play around with the big lock front end in that and try my knuckles out in it with relocated rack and see what it does. I'm curious as well, so is Matt, so we'll see how it works, but for this shell, I think I'll leave it like this with the whole Speedy Boy knuckle setup, and she'll be sweet. I've got basically everything to put my motor in, so that's next weekend and next video. I'm going to cut this intro here because I want to get started on piecing together motor stuff so that things are good to go in on the weekend. It's currently Tuesday, so this video is probably going to be up a day late, but it's the Mad Matsuri push, so it is what it is. But I'm excited, it's starting to actually get close and I've kind of got everything on hand that I need to do it. So I'm starting to actually peak and get really excited, which is good because I'm gonna fucking need it. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. If you've got experience with Wanka knuckles and have any tips for me to dial it in, to just get that, that nice speedy, but still able to reverse entry sort of stuff. Like I'd love to get backies down, but yeah. Yes. Comment, let me know your thoughts. But if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell. The quicker we get on this video as it comes out, the quicker YouTube's algorithm pumps us up, and the quicker I can do this more. So, and that's all I want to do. I just want to do this for the rest of my life and bring content to you guys, have you guys enjoy it, and that's the dream, but is what it is. Alright, I'm really excited if you couldn't tell. But as always guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching to the end. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Woohoo! Oh.